you are able to exchange information, you are able to exchange strategies, policies and stuff like that. So I think we need to do quite a lot in terms. The proposed amendments that have been approved by the Indian cabinet are a great setback. I think it was one step forward and 9 steps backwards as far as the progress on regulating cyber crime in India is concerned. But one major problem that we're also seeing is...
Sir, one question from Bombay. Can we share the best practice of US and use it in our cybercrime as a continuation of the earlier question? Because we were using the British penal code while incorporating the IPC. So can we use a similar strategy for this, for enforcing the cybercrime laws?
I think we can do that. The only problem is that the Indian law slightly is different in its approach to the US law. Primarily because the jurisprudence and the basis of which the law has evolved is different. But yes, best practices can always be followed. And now that you raised best practices, I want to now here take a cue from your question and say, hold on. We're talking about best practices. The Indian law already is exposing corporates to liability. Look, your employee does the nonsense, you get liable. It's not fair. Your board of directors get liable. What do you do? Or what do you tell your clients with whom you're consulting? Tell them they must do due diligence under the IT Act, under the Indian Cyber Law. Because, look, this is the law that requires you to do due diligence if you're a network service provider, or even if you are a user of, or any legal entity which is using computers, computer systems, computer networks, as also data or information in the electronic form. Now, the law has stipulated 27 parameters. If you as an entity are complying with those 27 parameters, the law has no grievance against you. So, but are you complying? As I said, 9 out of 10 companies are not even aware in India that you need to comply. It's only, in India is a chalta hai approach. Okay, we will cross the bridge when it comes. Okay, it can never touch me, that kind of an approach. But you sooner or later realize that there were going to be problems. So, for addressing this, for example, my law firm, Pavan Duggal Associates, has come up with a program. We call it the Pavan Duggal Due Diligence Program. It's now in the version 6 phase. We started in 2003, it's now 2008. It's the 6th version going across. We help companies to identify what they have already done. So we don't go ahead and reinvent the wheel. We see what you've already done. If what you have done, we review. Is that what you have done complying with the parameters? If it is not, we help you comply. For those parameters where you don't have the documentation or advice, we help you give that advice. So due diligence, I think, is an absolute necessary mantra for survival in corporate India. If you don't do it, you're actually playing with fire. And a lot of time companies don't even apply their mind. I had this case from Rajasthan. There's no names here. One top company in tourism sector in Rajasthan had a huge website. The website was a great travelogue. Travelogue, 2 people sitting, getting on a train from New Delhi, going from one city to the other. 4,000 pages, brilliant photographs, excellent website. So great on content, but they had a dispute because somebody else exactly copied web pages by web page as it is. So when they came to me and we were trying to go for an injunction, an infringement lawsuit, we looked at their terms and conditions. So this company was ABC, but the terms and conditions said, welcome to Yahoo India. Yahoo India will do this, Yahoo will not do this, Yahoo will do this. What had happened was this company, without application of mind, had got the terms and conditions of Yahoo and put it on their website without even wanting to change their names. Possibly, shall I say, endeavor, or shall I say lack of application of mind. But we had a huge problem because the opposite party said your terms and conditions says Yahoo. Where is Yahoo? There's no, Yahoo is a necessary party in the infringement proceedings. So never do the cut and paste job, because the cut and paste job invariably will land into trouble. Never do the control H, ever. Control H is like suicide as far as legal documentation is concerned. Because without you ever realize, the control H can do far more damage to you rather than to anyone else. So I think I completely agree, you need to do your compliances with best practices. Now more so in the context of these emerging trends on say phishing and identity theft, that's happening in a big time. It's not just this, we are now having greater problems. The problems are now arising pertaining to social networking. Topmost journalist, no names, comes to me one day. She's troubled. Journalist of a topmost newspaper. Why? She's getting unwanted calls on her mobile. What is the problem? Everybody wants to have sex with her. People And these are not blind calls, these are not monkey calls. These are calls people are identifying themselves by name and giving their telephone numbers and saying they wanting to have sex with her. Obviously, she's mighty mad about it. Further investigations reveal that somebody has created a fake profile about her on Facebook and has left a message that I'd love to have sex. So anybody who wants to have sex, call me at this number. Now what do you do? If you go to Facebook, Facebook says, well, sorry, we'll have to look, we'll see. And majority of the problems are in social networking coming because all of these platforms are located outside the territorial boundaries of India. So does your Indian law apply to outside India? Well, if you ask the law will say yes, because the IT Act says yes. It applies to any activity done by any person anywhere in the world, so long it impacts as a computer system or network that is physically located in India. But practically speaking, it's impossible. So let me give you an example. I am from Denmark. Pornography is legal. I host a pornographic website from Denmark. I am doing a legal activity, a legitimate activity from a legal jurisdiction. The site gets hosted. Somebody, you in India, see the site, or you download it. That's an offense. Now, how do you reconcile that? Does that mean because it's an offense under the IT Act in India, can I call this guy from Denmark and say, hold on, I'm going to now punish you for what you've done? There's a huge problem, and I think these are emerging challenges of jurisdiction that people are facing. But let me tell you, courts are now becoming increasingly proactive, and I must compliment and place on my record the utmost appreciation that the Delhi High Court the work that the Delhi High Court has done in this regard. The Delhi High Court is the only most proactive court in the country relating to all matters pertaining to cybercrime or electronic format. It's actually going ahead and making judge-made law, which was non-existent. So, can I sue a non-known person? Can I sue Mr. India, Mr. X, whose identity I don't know? That was never possible. Do you think it's possible today? Can I sue Mr. X? I don't know, Mr. X. Somebody whom I don't know. Can I sue somebody whom I don't know? An unknown person. The Indian jurisprudence is all based on the basic presumption you can only sue a person who is physical. Maybe a person, a company, a legal entity, association. But can I sue Mr. Unknown? I can't. The Delhi High Court has now done what has never been done. The Delhi High Court has allowed the suing of unknown persons care of the network service providers. Today what's happening is your electronic activities get related back to the IP addresses. So when you're logging on, the last details that we get to know will be your IP address. So could you sue an IP address? What is an IP address? An IP address is a mere location on a computer system. Is it a legal entity? Well, the High Court has taken the view that you could sue the IP address. In a number of cases, we have now sued IP addresses, and we have sued unknown persons. Care of the concerned IP addresses, care of the concerned internet service providers or service providers. And then service providers are now mandated to disclose the identity of the registrant or the allottee of the concerned IP address. So the next time you're sitting at home and you think you want to do something funny, think again, because now the Indian jurisprudence is going far beyond. We've got identities of people who are sitting at 2:33 in the night in the cozy homes thinking nobody can ever catch hold of them, and the law's gone up to them, their identities have been disclosed, they're now defendants and litigations are going across. So that's one very positive development that's happening in India, where the law is lacking, the judge-made law or the judicial